All right, folks, we're here at the Iowa Deer Classic checking out some of the great whitetails that are on display, including some of the best bucks from the past season. And I tell you, this is the last day of the show, and there has been one buck in particular that has garnered a ton of attention. Kurt McCarty, man, I have seen everybody coming to check out this incredible whitetail that you took this year, October 13th, 2022 in Dallas County, Iowa. This is a tremendous 6x7 whitetail. He has a net score officially now, 195 and 5/8. Folks, this is now the all-time #2 archery typical from the state of Iowa. Unbelievably, this is the biggest typical from Iowa in 32 years. Kurt, just a phenomenal whitetail.
Thank you.
Everything about this deer is so big. He's 23 inches on the inside. Both of the main beams are over 30 inches long. He has G3 tines over 13 inches. Just an outstanding deer. Tremendous shock value. The photos are great. A lot of people have been talking about this deer, but I tell you, in addition to just how good he looks, the hunting story is amazing. Can you tell us how you found out about this deer and ultimately harvested him?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. So on October 6th, I picked this deer up on a scrape. He was coming in and hitting a grapevine and scraping an area, and I had a picture of him there. But that picture at the time really didn't define, you know, how big the deer was, and I couldn't get like a good view on him. I actually got a side profile, and at that time I knew he was a good deer, but I just didn't realize he was this magnitude of deer. Well, I go back to the house, I start looking around, trying to figure out where's this deer bedding, where's his food source, you know, that whole thing, and I got in there and I hung another camera on the 10th. And that's when I realized he actually was looking at me about like this on the camera. Got in there, I want to say on the afternoon of the 10th or 11th, and I hung that deer stand in there, and that's really when the game began. So I barely made it in the deer stand that day. I had a lot of things going on at work, so I kind of slid in there a little bit late, but thank God I got in there before the does started coming out. They start coming out. There's 15 or 20 does out there. Some younger bucks are in the area. And the temperature that day, it was on the 13th, the temperature on that day was dropping. It was a little bit windy. And that deer ended up scent checking this whole area. He had already seen the camera over there, so he was already on kind of high alert, I think. He got to my right, and the wind's hitting me like this, and I had a ditch behind me, so I knew he wasn't going to go across that ditch. And he turns, and he comes to my right. Well, when he does, I'm right-handed, and I'm on a lock-on. It's a smaller little lock-on, and I peel my way to my right, and I was able to get back and pull my bow back.
Yeah.
Broadside, 35 yards. Nice shot. We're still in the woods, but I couldn't see any obstruction or anything. And I shoot, and I could not believe it. The knock is on, and the arrow sticks in the dirt 20 feet before the deer.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, oh my God, 47 years, 40 years of hunting. This is my pinnacle moment. And now my arrow's in the dirt.
And you think the opportunity has slipped past?
Oh, I knew it had.
Yeah.
I thought, or at least I thought it had. And so it goes in the dirt. He picks his arm up. He looks over. He thought it was a black walnut or a twig or something, and walks into the field and starts feeding. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So now my heart's still pounding, and I'm looking at him, and now I realize, oh my gosh, what a massive deer. I cannot believe that just happened. Two does turn around and start coming back up the field. Here's one of his scrapes right here. 12 points coming with him, and I don't have a shot window through the scrape tree, but if he gets in front of that scrape tree into a little window here, I can shoot him out in the beans. And he's about 30, 35 yards out there. Yeah. Well, the two does make their way up to my deer stand, and I can hear crunch, 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 crunch. Leaves had just started turning at a time, and I didn't hear anything else. Well, the 12 point's in there now, and now he steps in, and both of them have their head down, their feet along. And I'm like, okay, here it comes. I got my time. I look over my right shoulder, and the does are standing there, totally erect, all their ears up, whites of their eyes. They see the whites of my eyes. He's in my window, and I knew they were going to blow. I just said, you know what? I'm going to pull my bow back slowly. I start pulling back. She blows, and now he whips his head around just about like this. And I just counted to 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Shot. shot right through him, double lunged him. He turned and he ran about 50 yards from me and laid down. Didn't even kick, just laid down right into the bean field.
Wow, amazing story.
Yes.
Edge of your seat bow hunt, adrenaline packed. So many things had to go right for you to be able to take this deer, and I'm so happy that you did. I'm happy you made a great shot and
Yeah.
effectively harvested what is now one of the greatest typicals ever from the state of Iowa, and he's on display here at the Iowa Deer Classic. Kurt, congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.